the ability to catch the football, I can't imagine what type of weapon you would have been in like a Andy Reid offense, or a Sean McVay offense nowadays. So, is there anybody in the league that you really like their game or you enjoy watching?
You know, it's the year, it's the era of the quarterback. And I really like, I really like Mahomes. I really like Lamar Jackson. But he's not as fast as they are. But his name escapes me right now. The Bills quarterback.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Yeah, Josh Allen really. They do some good things.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. Well, I'm not going to think on that. but I really like the tight end. I mean, after I played tight end, I refused to go back to running back. I think that's why my career got cut a little short where I was traded to. I'm not. No, every team has different blocking styles and blocking assignments. Mm-hmm. And once I was traded to the Raiders, a lot of people don't know I played my last year with the Raiders when they were in L.A. I think Al Davis at the time wanted me to go back to the backfield.
Okay.
But I was in my fourth year playing tight end. But he knew that I was drafted as a running back, fullback slash from the I formation and the veer. But I'm like, come on, guys. I'm right here next to in front of this guy now, 2 feet from him.
Uh-huh.
I'm not used to that running start at 7 yards and we bumping heads like rams in the night.
So that brings to mind a question I want to tag off of is down the road as we got into and really it was the continued evolution of Bill Walsh's offense that I think created the H-back position as we know it. That would have been probably a tailor-made position for you, where one play you're lining up in the backfield, another play you're lining up, or you're going in motion. You're going from motion from a wide receiver position to the backfield. That would have been something that you would have probably excelled at had it evolved more by that time.
Yeah. Well, I want to take my hat off to Bill Walsh and Eddie Bartolo. Mm-hmm. They were patient enough with me for me to move me and give me a chance to learn tight end. And once I learned it, I took off with it. Even in '84, the Super Bowl 19, I started Russ Francis got hurt, and I started the last 8 games. I caught 51 passes that year, and I thought he was getting ready to take off, but you got to bring your starter back, and and those guys that's good enough to take up what the starter left off. We still got to take a back seat. You might at 26 years old, you don't understand it then,
right.
But you got to do what you got to do. I've been a coach since then, and and a lot of my players wasn't happy with the fact that once the starter got back or the starter got all the playing time that they had to do what they do. But I want to say this: the reason I had hands, but Bill, we didn't have a practice squad back then.
Oh yeah, right.
So we had to do the other team's offense. We was a scout team for the defense.
Okay.
And he liked the way I ran routes and ran down the field, and which I thought it was a natural that everybody could run a route. I didn't know you have to be taught to run a route.
Yeah.
And so when I kept getting open against our number one defense, man, and so that to be versatile really gives you a leg up. It really does. And I'm sure when they was in their meetings thinking about what are we going to do with this guy, and then he just overheard me one day, and that's why sometimes I don't talk too loud. He said, "Hey man, I'll put 40 points on and wear number 89 instead of number 49 and be a tight end," because somebody was praising me on how good I did on the scout team. And Bill heard me. He said, "Are you serious?" So when he made that decision, we drafted Roger Craig, and he called me in and he talked to me and he said, "Hey, you got hands good enough to be an X receiver?" I'm like, "No, these guys run too much." Do you want to play backup, running back? I'm like, "I don't want to play running backup to where I was drafted in the first round, 13th pick at." I say, "So let me try tight end." I mean, because in the West Coast offense, you don't have to be big. to be a tight end in the West Coast offense. That's evident now from what you're saying, because we really didn't block that much.
Yeah.
We didn't, it wasn't as wide open as it is now, but we really didn't block that much. And the blocking schemes with Bod McKittrick, who was a great offensive lineman, the blocking schemes were just so simple. And as long as you know your discipline, you're good.
Coop, you have a Abilene Christian Conference champion to my left, Jamal January. And when we first started, we were thinking, since he went to a small school, I asked Jamal, I said, what track events do you think he did? And Jamal thinks you were a decathlete. He says you could have done everything. But you already stole a little bit of our thunder because you said you ran the 400. So let's talk about them track days at a small school. What's your favorite? And what do you remember about being a track athlete?
Well, my favorite, I didn't get to run it, was a 220. That's what they called it the 220 back then.
Yeah, that's right.
Meters.
Exactly. Everything was still yards back then.
Yeah, they called it the 220. I ran third leg on the 4x1. And I ran, of course, if you're the fastest guy in the 400, you anchor the mile relay of the 4x4, as they call it now. And I threw the shot put and the discus.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
The shot put, I threw it 55 feet, never touched the weight.
God.
Never touched the weight. We didn't have weights in high school, guys.
Yeah.
It was what you did in the summertime. And some guys may do push-ups or something like that. But it was all about the hay hauling, the watermelons, and the post hole digging, and like I tell people, is whatever else my dad hooked me to pick up, And so it was our third leg of the 4x1.
How is that lifestyle though? The farm, small town lifestyle helped you get that old strength up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you dig post holes with that iron post hole digger, man, and you pulling that dirt out, and it seemed like every hole my dad dug was 3 feet or better, it does a lot of things as far as your training, with the chasing animals and doing this and picking up stuff. It's all about leverage. And a lot of guys don't work on leverage because they have machines. If you look at it where, I'm not saying you wouldn't have as many injuries, but it's all about leverage and the way you work, and if you're pulling against an animal, or if you're wrestling with one because you don't have a rope, then and you run everywhere. If you're out in the woods and you're about to that animal, I'm not going to say which one, whether it's a cow, pig, rabbit, or whatever. If that animal will get away, Dad gonna make you go look for him all day anyway.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes you ready for things. I mean, out on Highway 21 headed toward College Station, I know we got a Longhorn in here, and I'm gonna say this: the reason I didn't go to college A&M is because they had this guy named Curtis Dickey. Who was my size, same age, same grade, and who needs Earl Cooper when you have Curtis Dickey? We about the same size, and he was a world-class sprinter. So, but I like to give those guys props, and I do have friends that I played against in the Southwest Conference, even though they beat us pretty bad. I still have friends that admired me for the toughness and the tenacity that I played with, and I credit them to get me where I am. Yeah.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes, sir.
I'm hanging with Mr. Cooper. Good morning, everybody. The professor is in the house. Anyway, quick question for you. The surface you played on back in your day,
yes.
I know Earl Campbell has said that it may have been contributed to his physicality now and his lack of ability. What was your favorite venue to play on, and what was your least favorite to play?
My favorite, goodness gracious, Professor, I hadn't even thought about that.
That's what I'm here.
As venue, you're talking about the grass or turf?
Grass, turf. I mean, at that point, the AstroTurf was just really coming into its own. And I thought a lot of colleges or pro stadiums went to AstroTurf because it looked good on TV.
Yeah. Well, I like playing grass because I was raised on grass. But the least favorite was that tartan surface. You know, I just told my friends, I don't think when Dallas called me to try out after I had been released by the Raiders, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to play on that tartan surface every Sunday, you know, because it's almost like just rolling. If you ever been tartan surface, it's like rolling carpet on over pavement. You know, the best field, I can't even say what the best field was, but the Astrodome, you know, they just zipped that out and rolled it out. So every time I went to the Astrodome, I had 2 sprained ankles afterwards, and it was the same thing when I played with the 49ers. So I'm gonna have to say grass.
And I remember back in those days, and you young guys probably have never seen it. Maybe if you watch NFL films, was the popular era of multi-sport stadiums, and you would actually play on the dirt infield of a day, especially out in California. I think every, I guess Candlestick certainly was a dual sport stadium. The Raiders were playing in a dual sport stadium, the Oakland Coliseum, and so and then even on the turf stadiums, Philadelphia was famous for it. Their field was so bad they would put down patches of turf like wrapped around. I swear it had to have been a plywood over the dirt because they had dirt and turf baseball. And that was an awful surface, and it caused a lot of injuries.
And it's funny you mentioned that because we always, at Candlestick, we always, like, man, we got to get baseball season over with. You know, because of the wind at Candlestick, that was actually crushed and ground brick in the infield. And they would water that stuff seemed like every at the end of every quarter. They would water it. And my thing is we were playing Atlanta Falcons, and I don't know how I got tackled kind of crazy, and it was that I got tackled, and it tore through my pants and like 2 or 3 layers of my skin on my hip. So I'm, you know, for the next 2 weeks, you know, I had the biggest strawberry in the world. So I'm not talking about the kind you're getting for Valentine's Day today either, you know, and kind of driving, and I had a stick shift at the time. It wasn't that much fun. You know, but it has to be that. I forgot all about the dual purposes. But it has to be that. But Candlestick and Shea Stadium the same way. A lot of people don't know about Shea Stadium because it's no longer with us, but I'll tell you, we went up there and played the Jets, and, you know, to be in those, I never played at Lambeau Field, but to be in those historical stadiums, man, it's just a certain thing that just, you think about it and it brings out of you. So I can imagine going to Lambeau. The one time that we play the Packers on the road is when they used to split their home games between County Stadium, Milwaukee County Stadium, and Lambeau, and just that was the year that when we went up there that we played at Milwaukee County Stadium.
I just want to go back to the Super Bowl, and you got to blow out that was. But the reason why is because that front four for Philly was just dominating. From an offensive standpoint, I'm just curious to know if you ever had a game like that where the opposing team just wouldn't let y'all run a route 5 yards down the field without the quarterback being tackled. What is that like just as a receiver, knowing that, man, they can't even block these guys for 3 seconds. So what am I running a route for?
Well, I had a front row seat to one of the best defenses in the NFL back in the day with Fred Dean, Michael Carter, Jim Stuckey, and those guys, and they brought that same kind of heat, you know. So, but the thing is, what's different now with the receivers is we weren't allowed to get shut down like that, you know, because we worked on the physicality of getting off the ball, you know. We would have to stay there all day through the whole thing if you couldn't get off a 1-and-1 jam. You know, it would just get physical between the DBs and the receivers, and it just worked. Even the linebackers with the tight ends, you know. So, but no, we never. After my rookie year, we never really got shut down like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you real quick. You coming out of Rice, and and you talked about the great friends you had in the Southwest Conference, and those Rice teams, they just weren't very good. I mean, Rice has always had, there's a reason John F. Kennedy talked about the Texas Rice series in his speech. That was the way it was. And if you go back and look, you were drafted round 1, pick 13.
Right.
And if you held up those stats today, and you told whoever's picking 13th in the draft, we're going to draft this running back with these stats, you might have a riot on your hand. Talk about what it was that Bill Walsh especially saw in you to bring you out of Rice in a first-round draft pick.
I really don't know, man. 'Cause even on draft day, I was guessing, but I think it had to be that I finished 10th in the nation in receiving, off of a 1 in 10 team.
Yeah.
Fit and what he talked to me about is how can a kid be playing as hard as you play in the fourth quarter, and you're 35 points down, and you don't have a dog's chance in heck to win?
Yeah.
And that's the way I was raised, and that's the way my dad taught me, that if you're going to be out there doing something, you do your best, or you just go to the sideline and sit down.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I was invited to the Blue-Gray game. Mm-hmm. I was invited to the East-West Shrine All-Star game, and I think LaVelle Edwards showcased Mark Wilson, and that really helped me because we just threw passes and ran sweeps the whole time.
Okay.
While the other team over there in the East, they were beating each other up. And then I was headed back from the East-West Shrine game, and it was late. I had stopped in my hometown and went through Lexington, small town dime box, and I'm headed back, and it's late. How college kids are. Mm-hmm. You stop and see everybody on the way because semester is starting. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I get back late. I go to my 8 o'clock class. I'll do this. I'll do that. Then I'll go back and go to sleep because I don't have to work out. Mm-hmm. So I have to go to off season. Somebody knock on the door. Ray Perkins want you to come down to the Senior Bowl. So when I attribute it also to the Senior Bowl because everybody's there, the coaches and stuff, the All-American linebackers couldn't cover me with my route running and catching. And I tell this all the time, and I'm not bragging. We ran an out and up. Jimmy Jordan from Florida State was the quarterback, and I don't want to call this guy name because he's good, and we always had a good time. Otis Wilson, Chicago Bears. Mm-hmm. I ran an out and up, and I'm going up the sideline, and we running about even. Maybe I have a step on him because of the out and up, and Jimmy Jordan just threw that ball down the sideline. I looked back. I didn't. And I could have turned and opened my shoulders, which a lot of guys don't do these days. Mm. You catch with your feet and your shoulders. You don't. It's not the route. You got to stop, open, catch. So what I did, I'm like, okay, I'm either gonna make this spectacular, or I'm just gonna miss the ball. Mm. So I'm looking back. The ball is going over my right shoulder to my left shoulder, behind my head, and I just put my hand back, caught it, brought it down with one hand, tucked it, and kept going. My right hand, I'm left-handed anyway, but my right hand never touched the ball.
I'll be damned.
Then you can see everybody just writing, So I think that with to continue to play hard and just give it your all. I think that's what got me. And plus, he could see how natural my hands were. Some people fight the ball, but my hands were pretty natural.
All right. Well, Earl, we appreciate you coming in. Coop, appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much. We're not going to rush you off. I know you got things to do, but we certainly appreciate you. We need to get to a break. We're going to come back after this right here on The Fans View.
We are back. The Fans View. Listen, that was amazing. We promise you, we will have two-time Super Bowl champ Earl Cooper back. Look, we're working around his schedule, and he did have some stuff going on today. That I know y'all got more questions. We got more questions, and that's just a winner. Jamal, I know for a fact that once we started talking track, you got excited. What are your impressions of such a big dude? I remember he said in our first interview he was 6'2", 225, 230. What's your impressions of that size of a person running track?
I was really hoping he was going to say he was a decathlete, man. Like, when I tell y'all, looking at him in person, this guy's a unit. And I was really, because we were talking off air, and you were asking me which events do I think he did, and I was like, there's no way he didn't do shot put back then. You know, looking at his size, and he's definitely has some strength. You could tell he has some strength on him. And I was like, he probably ran the 100, but he's at the 400. You know, he said he had that. When he mentioned before that he had a long stride, I was like, he's going to say that he ran the 400 or something like that. But yeah, he could have done high jump too. When I tell y'all, this guy, he looks like a Super Bowl champion. I'll tell you that. He looks like $1 million in here.
When he walked in, because I've only seen him virtually, because he and I did that first interview for last week virtually. But when he walked into the studio, man, he looked good. For those of y'all, don't worry, we're going to put those pictures up on social media. He played in Super Bowl 16 and Super Bowl 19. Y'all, we ain't at those numbers anymore. But this brother looks good. His body, the way he has kept himself, kudos to him. And kudos to Coop for giving us a great time on the show. We got someone on the lines right now, Mr. Oklahoma. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Hey, we doing good. Hey, we're still entertaining Coop out in the lobby, but
okay.
the brother got to go. But me and
Hey,
Jamal are here. Me and Jamal, we still here with you.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we take our job seriously. Everybody else, they smoking and joking with a Super Bowl champion just because he got 2 rings.
Yeah, man. Hey, I was a little upset with y'all last week.
You was upset with us last week. Why?
Yeah, because man, y'all had 30 minutes to answer the telephone and see us callers.
Because we didn't get
can
him
tell
on the
when
phone.
the phone is off the hook.
Jamal, I want you to say something to him before, because Mr. Oklahoma, you about to get my blood pressure up. Jamal, get at your boy about last week and him not getting in and only 30 minutes on the calls.
Well, I would say this, Mr. Oklahoma, hear me loud and clear, right? Got no beef with you, no hate towards you or anything, you know. End of the day, this is KZI and not Mr. Oklahoma show. Just throwing that out there. You know, but
I mean,
but we do apologize for
I've been calling in for years, bro.
Yeah.
I've been calling in for years. What I'm saying, y'all had 30 minutes. It was 11:30.
Yeah.
All I want to do is just give my prediction on the Super Bowl, and say I can tell when the phone is off the hook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, me and Mr. Pflugerville tried to call in, but we couldn't get in. So, I know I was upset.
Wait a minute. It sounds like, are y'all doing some behind the scenes conspiracy stuff? You and Mr. Pflugerville, y'all got a little text chain going on?
I didn't know like that.
Okay.
I know Mr. Pflugerville like to call in too. So I know I tried to call in. I said, well, they got the phone off the hook because every time I call in, it'd be so.
Hey. So since while we on that topic of Coop being in the building, hey, what'd you think about that? Him going to Rice, him being a small town dude, any of that get you? You seem like that would be right up your alley.
Yeah, well, it is kind of sort of up my alley. He did good. He went to the pros and all of that, the Super Bowl and all that. I didn't get a chance to do that. But I think I did pretty good. I was running nines, I was catching bombs and running track and, playing basketball and all that. So, I didn't really get that far. But, he did good. I give props to him.
Hey, he said something to us out in the lobby when we were taking our picture. He said basketball was his favorite. Like that, he really liked basketball. Would that be a shot?
Me too.
Okay. All right. So you're in agreement there. That's a shot.
Yeah,
me too. And Douglas, you too.
No, I don't know if I could make that decision because I just ran into an Army buddy the other day and we were reminiscing about some good days we had playing basketball. I honestly don't know if I liked tackle football or basketball the most. Wow. I don't want to make that
Yeah.
decision. I don't want to
Yeah,
have to pick.
I wanted basketball over any other sport because I had a jump shot. You know, I was tough.
Yeah.
I was tough with that jump shot, man. You know,
And I'm a
but
point
it is
guard.
what it is.
And I
Yeah, but you
some
know,
good talent.
Yeah, go ahead. But I wanted to bring up. We were talking about UCLA women, you know, about a couple of weeks ago. So they went down last night.
Down goes Frazier. Yeah, they went.
Yeah.
Well, that's that crosstown. You know, I'm gonna tell you this: the stars came out when that UCLA USC game comes in. I don't care what the record is. That is the place to go. You don't.
Yeah.
That's your pickup line to a girl when you live in Los Angeles. All you gotta say is, "Hey, I got these tickets to USC UCLA tonight," and I don't care who she is. She could be out of your league. She could be Rihanna. If you got a seat, you're in there. People line up.
Yeah.
People be lining up at lunch for games that start at 6 and 7 o'clock at night. I just want to put that to y'all. This is Los Angeles, and people do that. So sometimes it's hot. Yesterday it was just rainy, but and that game did not disappoint. I'm glad you brought that up.
And I tell you, man, I got to give props to Texas women, man. They looking pretty good right now. They took out South Carolina girls, but I don't know, man. I don't know if they're gonna be in the championship, you know. But they looking pretty good right now.
I tell you what, this is
Disrespect is crazy.
two top 10 wins in the past
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
and they got LSU coming to town on Saturday.
It was Saturday or Sunday.
Sunday.
It is Sunday. You're right. Sunday. So
Yeah.
an opportunity for 3 top 10 wins in like 8 days, 9 days, something like that.
And it's not just like wins.
No,
It's dominating.
Yeah, that led. I mean, essentially, I think. Did they lead wire to wire against South Carolina?
Yes, they
Yeah,
did.
so I actually got a stat for you.
Okay.
Last 3 games against Vanderbilt, starting with Vanderbilt, they led for everything but 21 seconds.
Okay.
South Carolina, they led the whole game. And then last night against Kentucky, 132 seconds is the only amount of time they didn't lead. So
Yeah.
these girls are dominating every single high class. Like Kentucky's number 8 in the country.
Kentucky, like exactly. Kentucky's number 8 in the country, and it was still a ball game at halftime.
Yeah.
And 3 minutes into the second half, it was no longer a ball game.
Well, that's why Corey and I, we looked at each other. We don't like the disrespect in your tone, Mr. Oklahoma. You sound like you want to give the girls a little props, but then in that same voice, you were saying, nah, but they ain't going to make it to the championship. Tell us why you don't seem to have confidence like the rest of us do.
Well, you know, I mean, I think they're doing pretty good right now. But if they play South Carolina again, I don't think they'll win that game. You know, but South Carolina, you know, first I got to see what they're gonna do against MSU.
Yeah.
I got to see that. You know,
One of the things about the women's team at Texas, and look, when we get to conference tournament, we get to NCAA tournaments, we'll see how it plays out. But the game of basketball has evolved to the point where if you don't have some facet of the 3-point game in your offense, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because you're scoring 2 points at a time when another team is out there trying to score 3 points at a time, and if they get hot. And that was the thing about the South Carolina game. Down the stretch of that game, I was not worried that Texas was going to be able to grab rebounds. They were going to be able to box out. They were going to play stout defense. But all it took is one player to get hot, and you can start cutting into a lead. Luckily, Texas was able to hold that off. But that is the fear for this Texas team because they don't. I mean, they shoot, 3 or 4 threes a game?
Well, I mean, last night they had a couple. I just think it's a situation where they don't shoot them, but they can. You know, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, they don't shoot them, but like Shea Holly's a really good shooter.
Yeah.
Jordan Lee's a really good shooter. And so like they have girls on the team that can hit threes, but that's just not the game plan. So they didn't hit any threes against South Carolina.
Right.
And they still led the whole game.
Yeah.
So I think to me, that's the scary part about the SUT team. It's like they don't have to hit threes. to dominate the number 2 team in the country. And so it'll be interesting though if they go against a team like UCLA with the girl that matches the size that Taylor Jones brings, that Kyla O'Dakers brings. But even watch the USC highlights. That's going to be a real interesting matchup if they do face each other, because USC has a girl down low, but then you have Juju playing kind of what Madison Booker does.
If Juju is blocking 8 shots a game like she did last night, that changes everything.
And those blocks are, like, if you watch the game, those blocks are all help side. So the big is engaging, and Juju's coming up from behind, and which is exactly what they would do to Taylor Jones and do to Kyla. Like, that's exactly how Kyla and Taylor get their buckets, and they don't see a help side defender coming from behind them. So I saw that last night. I'm like, that could be trouble for Texas if Juju's on that type of defensive mindset like she was last night.
It meant a lot.
Yeah, hey, I want to switch up a little bit. Man, I was so happy at that Super Bowl, man. I'm so happy for Philly. I mean, if that is I'm glad Philly won. I'm glad Philly won. Because, I mean, I am tired of Mahomes and the Chiefs. And I know y'all lost a lot of money because I heard y'all predict last week, but we got the Chiefs. We got the Chiefs. I said, okay, I'm going to take Philly.
Wait a minute. Now you all after the fact, you real loud right now. But for the rest of us, it's you know what? Live in your moment, because we did all go that way.
Aren't you a Cowboys fan?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yes, sir. You must understand what I said. I say since the Cowboys is not there, I will take Philly. I want the Cowboys to be there.
You would take the division?
I want the Cowboys. I want the Texans to be there. But since they wasn't there, I have to go with Big Philly.
You know what? I'm gonna take up for Mr. Oklahoma here, because I like people to say, well, if it can't be us, I want people to know that our division is the best. So maybe that's where he's going. Are y'all okay with that? Y'all agree? Oh, no. Nope. A diehard says, I don't want the Eagles to fly. What about Corey? Come on, Jamal, y'all, can anybody help me support Mr. Oklahoma?
What, that division's the best?
Well,
I mean, 2 of the teams was in the NFC Championship conference game.
Yes, sir. Okay, see that? Jamal's got your back.
Bro, they are not the best, bro. I'm not going to sit here and NFC North exists. The NFC North exists.
How'd they ended up doing in the playoffs?
Okay, that's cool.
Not this year.
Everyone has their run. Look, CJ, they had his run last year. Jaden Daniels has his run this year. Look, sophomore year. We'll see what happens. Yeah. There is a sophomore slump. So, not wishing that upon Jaden. But let's be realistic. Can we expect him to go back?
And that Saquon Barkley was bad. That Saquon Barkley was bad.
No, they sold out. They said, you're not beating us today.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
Yeah, hey Travis, I want to ask you before I get out the air. Look, you don't ever talk about going to UT baseball. You play baseball, I play baseball.
Yeah.
I never hear you talking about going to the baseball game.
So I don't go to many baseball games.
Not even started yet.
I actually it starts today. And I thought about going up to Arlington to watch. They play. I know they play Oklahoma State tomorrow. They play Clemson. There's like 11 teams up there at this thing, from all different Big Ten, SEC, and Big 12, I believe. Season kicks off this week. We'll talk some Texas baseball this year.
Yes, we will.
This should be with Schloss here now. I think look, I was not a David Pierce hater. But I certainly thought there were holes in his recruiting, and I think Schloss will be able to sew some of those holes up, and we should see a little tighter pitching staff, maybe a little bit better hitting, and I think Texas is in good shape at this point.
Ole Miss is up there, Louisville, Oklahoma State.
And they haven't done well in Arlington the last 3 years.
They haven't. We got swept the first time this thing happened back during the pandemic.
Then they got swept last year.
Did we get swept last year too?
I'm Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna get off the air because Mr. January already warned me. So I'm gonna get off the air because Mr. January warned me.
One last quick question.
I talked with y'all next week.
Don't leave yet. One last quick
Okay.
question. Because you brought it up. UT baseball. Tuesday, February 18th, the Houston Cougars come to town. You going to the game?
I don't know. I mean, I don't. Where are the Houston Cougars ranked at? Where are they ranked?
Oh no, Houston ain't. No, they ain't doing that.
They not ranked, but I'm not going because I'm disappointed with the Houston Cougars basketball. You know.
Okay.
So because they can't get on up there. Climb the ladder to be number one, number two.
But they're playing good ball though.
They're all right though.
They playing good ball.
All right.
Yes, they are.
They're all right.
Didn't they just beat Kansas?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, but I mean, but they, I don't know, man. I mean, I still like the Cougars, but I like to see them get on that to number one. I'll see y'all next week, bro.
All right, we appreciate it, Mr. Oklahoma. We appreciate it.
The game was circling.
Yeah, we gotta get out the air.
No, but I thought he may want to come and support the home team.
He don't care about Houston, bro.
Maybe.
But he brought up UT.
Hey, maybe Houston should just fire Kelvin Sampson. I mean, he obviously can't get him over the hump. So, 512-836-2887. You can get your calls and comments and questions in, and maybe do it in less than 20 minutes. So,
I think most people don't want to follow.
No, I
Mr.
don't. I
Oklahoma.
agree.
It is hard to follow because he is entertaining. For those, if you're a first-time listener, yeah, we get Adam, but we love this guy.
We do. Yeah, we
And
do.
That's great energy. He makes good radio.
He does.
And he could take it. He can
Yes, he
dish it,
does.
and
He
he
dish-
can take it. And even if he can't take it, he has good reaction.
That's right.
Which is still good for radio. So we love that guy.
All right. We're kind of bumping up against. We ran long in the first segment. We're kind of bumping up against it to this second segment. But
Can we get you guys? Jamal and I gave our reactions to Coop. Can we get y'all's live reactions to Coop? We covered his stature. We covered his athleticism, and I just want to know you did them live, or your interview was virtual.
It was virtual.
Okay, so now that y'all have been in his presence, like all of that together, what are y'all's recaps of being with Coop?
I mean, he's physically intimidating.
Still,
Yes. I mean, his shoulders.
yes.
That's the first thing when he walked in, and of course, I opened the door for him. I wasn't sure who he was, and we were kind of having a conversation with a couple other people. Douglas, you and I were, and so I kind of turned my back to him, and then when I turned back around, all I see are these traps coming off his neck and his shoulders, and I'm like, holy crap,
bro.
who is this guy?
And you, so Travis, to that same point, you don't want to turn your back on. You got that guy behind you. You might about to get robbed. He is big and intimidating.
It was great having him in.
Yeah.
I'd love to have him in some more. He spent time as in the high school coaching ranks.
We didn't even cover that.
I'd love to hear him talk about the state of not only. I mean, he obviously played high school football, but he coached high school basketball. I'd love to get him back in and talk about the UIL and the state of the football programs and the basketball programs here in the greater Austin area, as he spent time up at Hendrickson. And get his thoughts on that. But I got to be honest, it's very difficult for me as a lover of the history of the game. I could have sat there and talked for another 2 hours with him
easily
and not talked about a single down of football. Just talking about, look, the professor had a great question about fields you played on, and the first thing that popped into my head was Candlestick Park and the dirt infields and all the games that were played, and it was he's a great man to talk to, and we twice now we've had the pleasure of having him on, once virtually and now once in studio, and he is welcome here anytime. Because that was great radio.
Lucky to have him. Yeah. And also, how lucky are we that he can talk?
Yeah. He's a
Some
yapper.
athletes,
That's right.
Some guests, it's just we're just dragging stuff out of them, you guys don't get to see it, and you know, we stay professional about it, but it is hard with some people. Not with Earl.
Right.
Just like Travis said, man, we could have. We might have needed to pull out some cold ones and just
that's right.
Just get it. That was
What
fun.
type of cold ones, bro?
I'm
Mountain
more-
Blue or what?
Yeah, I'm a Mountain Dew type of dude. Yeah, that's what I
Mountain
get
Dew's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I do. I used to work for Pepsi. You know what? That's another story. I would love to take you down that road because it would blow your mind.
I'm about to say, where do you work at Pepsi?
I blame them. For
South
that.
Korea.
Connecticut.
Okay,
West
okay.
Hartford, Connecticut. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm also just kind of curious. One last little thing when it comes to athleticism. He told you guys he liked basketball more.
Yeah.
And you know, Mr. Oklahoma said that. Travis, would you guys pick?
Well, he also said his sister was all state, and so basketball was sort of a family thing. And once again, this is another era of bygone days. And Jamal, this may be the first time you ever heard about this. Douglas, it wouldn't surprise me if you've heard about it or not.
Yeah.
Because of your travels in different parts of the country, but his sister played, and you know, we're talking, you know, back in the mid to late 70s, right? His sister played 3-on-3 basketball.
Yep.
You ever heard of that, Jamal? So the way women's basketball used to be played was you had 3 on offense and 3 on defense, and you did not cross half court. And so if you were a defender, you played defense against the other team's 3 offensive players. You grab a rebound, and your job is to advance it to get it to your players on the other side of the court so that they can go play offense. And that's the way the game of women's basketball was played in some places up until the mid to late 80s.
Yes.
I mean, it was crazy. And at this point, you got to remember, at this point, the UT women's basketball program, I'm going to have to do a quick history search here, but when Jody Conrad took that over in 76, 77, something like that, that, you know, they were playing 5-on-5, but they were recruiting athletes who essentially were playing 3-on-3 basketball. So you were having to not only recruit players who didn't play the game of basketball you were recruiting them to play, then have to teach them the game of 5-on-5 basketball.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so she started there in 76.
Yes.
So
Yep.
just look how recent that is, considering also our guy we just had, Coop.
Yep.
I mean, that was during his time.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's right. So so let's get to a break. We'll come back on the other side. I promise you we're going to talk about some sports, all right? Right here on the Fans View. On the Fans View, KAZI 88.7, Travis Kent alongside Douglas Washington. KVU24's Corey Mose. Jamal January twisting and tweaking the dials.
Hello.
So, all right, so this begins the sports hour. We got. Let's get to the Super Bowl first. Let's kind of. I know it happened a week ago. We've probably all been talked out of it. I just let Jamal know I stayed off of the Saquon Barkley bet. I'm glad I did, but I had the national anthem and the over, so I hit that one.
Wait, hold on.
Rewind.
Wait, you say you hit over on the national anthem?
I did.
Being over, what
Yeah.
was it, 120.5?
Yeah, it was 120.5, and the site that I use had it at 203, I think.
Are you kidding me? Mine said I didn't hit on flip.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
kidding me?
It's like, it said I didn't hit.
I think you're just up to this. You know, it depends on when they started, because when they started it when he first started singing,
Yeah.
to the end of the singing, it was just under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you start from the music to the end, it was just over 2 minutes.
I was timing it too.
I was too, yeah.
I was like, oh, this says 203. I sent it to my
That's what
group chat. I was like, hey,
exactly.
y'all, I think I don't know if I hit or not.
All right, so we got a call. So let's jump into the calls. Hey, caller, go ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Hey, Pflugerville, man, how you doing?
Hey, can't complain, man. I want to talk a little bit about the Cowboys. I know it's off season and everything, but it seems like the Cowboys, I don't care what the season is, there's always something going on. I saw Dak said the Cowboys very close to winning the Super Bowl. Does he mean this year, next year, or 30 years from now? What is it? I don't know. But I think one player that they need to take care of is Michael Parsons. And he said something that all the Cowboy fans like, but, I was management do something to make the team better, man. Just a few weeks ago, Derrick Henry, he wanted to go there. He lived in Dallas, and they didn't even call it. He said, no, nobody called me from Dallas. Then we even had a chance for Saquon Barkley, but they let it go.
Yep.
So what's up?
Well, since I have lived here and I know who our fan base is, I've tried to be very supportive of the Mavericks. I've been very supportive of the Rangers, of course the Houston teams, and then of course the Cowboys that we're talking about right now. But I have been a Dougie turncoat when it comes to what the mistakes they've made in the off seasons. I said a year ago that they should have went and got Derrick Henry, and then they missed him again this year. And oh my gosh, the Saquon Barkley miss, that just hurts even more. Yes, you missed out on Derrick, but then just to see what's the kind of year Saquon had, it hurts even more. And they could have afforded it. They could have done some things. Yeah, at this point, I just say, can we move forward? They got to go get a wide receiver opposite of CeeDee Lamb. They're still going to have to make a decision. Are we going to go with Rico Dowdle, or are we going to go get another running back and do a two-headed monster? I just want to move forward with Dallas because, egg is on the face, and they look very bad missing out, at least on those two.
Yeah, I'll address real quickly the Michael Parsons comments that he's pleading. He's said as much as that he would take less if they would go get Myles Garrett next year on his contract, and so. Nice. But let me tell you the thought process from Stephen and Jerry Jones and how messed up this is. A couple of weeks ago, they needed to fill the running back coach position, and Tashard Choice, who they drafted, was a leading candidate, and he did not take the job because they offered him less than what Texas was paying him. By the way, Tashard Choice just took the job at Detroit, so he'll be coaching Jahmyr Gibbs and not Brees Hall.
David Montgomery.
David Montgomery, thank you. So that tells you about the idiots that are running the Cowboys right now.
And that whole situation's funny to me, because you would think he's a perfect hire.
Yes.
Yeah, Choice.
He is the perfect.
Pay him whatever you want.
Yes.
But cheap, bro.
Yeah, they are cheap.
Great for a Choice, though. I will say that I just want to put that on the air.
Oh, my gosh.
Coach Choice, phenomenal, not just coach, but a phenomenal human being. He's a leader of men. He helps lead them spiritually and physically on the field. And it's dope that he gets to reconnect with Jahmyr Gibbs. What a full circle moment it must be. I bet that FaceTime call was crazy when Jahmyr Gibbs called Choice and was like, bro, we back together. I bet that was dope.
I got one more, though. I'm going to pile on while we're doing it because I've been holding on to this all week. Marshall Faulk was out there, and they did not hire Marshall Faulk in Dallas either.
But what's his pedigree, though?
Colorado has him now.
What's his pedigree? I don't think he's coached.
On turf?
I don't think he's coached, though.
I would give him one of the greatest of all time. Man, I'd give him a shot. I'd kick the tires.
Nah, not in the NFL level.
What?
Nah, bro. You gotta earn your chops, bro.
Okay, so Brian Schottenheimer earned his chops.
Yeah, he was in the facility. He at least was in the league for a little bit before getting a position. You can't just throw a guy who's never been coaching in the NFL in the positional coach. In my eyes, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Yeah, you can say the same thing about Warren. Like Warren Sapp's not in the league for a reason because you got to earn your chops.
Yeah.
Now I bet he will get there eventually.
I
Sapp
agree.
will get there. Falk will get there. Hines Ward would get there.
There's guys like Leon Lett who have served now for years as an assistant defensive line coach for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. He's eventually going to get his shots. He's going to move up, but you've got to cut your teeth somewhere. You don't just get installed as the top of the food chain just because you were a great player. But
man.
What else you got? Where were we?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, I want to talk a little bit about, if I could, about the Lake Longhorn basketball team. Right now, they're looking very, very good. And, when South Carolina came down here, they were I think UT was ahead all through the whole game, man.
Yes, sir.
But they were trying to come back. I think it maybe been about a 4-point victory or something like that. So they beat Kentucky Sunday. So there's a chance some Monday, hour later, going through. UCLA, they lost to USC. So just have to wait and see.
No, that's a good point. They definitely could be number one in the nation.
They could.
Come Monday.
Notre Dame's on a 17-game win streak and still haven't lost. So it'll be tough to jump over them.
Yeah.
But if you take into if Texas beats LSU on Sunday, it would be hard to say their strength of schedule over the last 8 days. That could be the toughest stretch of games in the country by anyone.
Yeah.
And it would be tough to deny them for sure.
Especially if it's another.
It's at least an argument, correct. If it's another wire-to-wire win, something like that, yes, for sure.
And what do you do with USC? Now, they only have 2 losses on the season, and they took out the number 1 team handily by 11 points.
It wasn't handily. They were down in the fourth. By like 8.
What final score though?
I know, but you got to watch the game.
Yeah.
You got to watch the game. That's not handily. Handily, that's wire to wire. They had to come back and win that game.
Agreed.
Okay.
I think you got to do something with USC when it comes to the rankings, and
I agree.
I could see them taking the hop, but Pflugerville, man, I know you're always short on time. What else you got?
No, I'm good this day. I'm out.
Okay. Thanks for calling in.
You got anything else for Rule Man? You got anything else for us?
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, right quick. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I've got some steaks and stuff planned for my sweetheart. So happy Valentine's Day.
Appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
So he's a lover.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Lover boy.
Man is a lover. He said, I'm going to put some steaks on.
Yeah.
The romance is not dead. I respect that.
But no, you're right though with the USC thing. I'm interested to see what they do with them too, because you beat the number 1 team in the country.
Because it was a national game, a lot of audience. I think that could be very influential to the voters.
Let me ask, Corey, and you guys lay more eyes on, especially the West Coast teams than I do. I got to be very honest. I didn't watch any of that game last night, but I guess I saw UCLA women play a couple of weeks ago. I caught some of their game. I am not doubting that USC is a top 5 team. Is UCLA really that good? Or I mean,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, they are team ball. I mean,
they have a big.
What's their weakness?
See, okay,
and they know to get it to her.
They have a big.
She's got great hands.
And we see what Texas. When you have a big in college women's basketball, you can win a lot of games.
You can.
And
she's in shape.
And she's not just big.
She's
big.
She can play the whole game. She moves well, gets down the court. You're not waiting for her.
But to your point, though, if you shut her down, they can't do much else.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the difference between a UCLA and a USC or a Texas or a South Carolina.
They don't have a Madison Booker or a Juju or somebody like that they can. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. And even when Juju's not on, you have the other girl that's the big girl down. I forget her name all the time. That transferred in, and that 2-headed monster. Okay. I mean, it showed its chops yesterday. Okay. But yeah, I'm not that big on UCLA. Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay. When it comes to the run. I like South Carolina more. I like Texas more. I like USC more. But they'll probably be a 1 seed.
Yeah.
And
I may like LSU more, to be honest. I haven't really watched LSU play a lot.
Well,
but Anissa Morrow's leading the league, leading the country in rebounds, in offensive rebounds a game. And then you got Flage still doing her thing. So
yes.
Yeah.
I just want to remind people too. Yes, I'm trumpeting USC. Right outside the top 5 because you're saying you don't know if they're top. Yeah, they're 6.
Yeah,
but I think they'll jump.
I think they will too.
But you have this is always hard to say. Maybe the best player in the nation, and she was on one last night. She went 6 of 9 from 3. You could just tell she wanted it, and UCLA just caught her on the wrong night. Any other team, UCLA still might walk out of there with a win, but not last night.
It's. I tell you what, we're going to talk a little. We can certainly talk more about the rankings and the standings when we get closer to Selection Sunday. But between UCLA, if you throw UCLA in there, which I would flip-flop them from where they are number 1 now, maybe to number 7 or 8 in the teams. But if you're talking about Notre Dame, Texas, South Carolina, LSU, USC, UConn, that's I mean, those there's only 4 number 1 seeds.
Yep.
And so essentially what you're looking at there is the top 8 teams in the country right now. And we just saw one of them, number 8 Kentucky, get beat by 18 last night by Texas. Are all just clustered right together. And it is going to come down to conference tournaments.
Yeah.
In a lot of these seeding scenarios.
So we get to see that USC, UCLA, if all things pan out the way it is, because you got one that's 11-1 and one that's 12-1 in their conference.
That's right.
So you think they're going to hit, and we get to see it again. And to your point, that'll be the equalizer.
We'll see those late season classic Big Ten matchups between UCLA and USC.
Yeah.
I looked straight at Corey.
Hey, that's where we're at. You guys know, just like you said, I've been watching a lot of West Coast ball. I look at Cal. Cal has already flown 34,000 miles already this season. So, they're in the ACC.
Yeah.
And so they got to fly over. They got to play Miami. This is where we're at.
All right, Super Bowl talk. Obviously it was not the game we were hoping. Dominant performance. I got to be honest. Both defenses played really well. Obviously, Kansas City's offense put their defense in some completely unenviable and almost unstoppable situations. I mean, that second interception, look, we can say all you want about if you're a good defense, you can hold them to 3. You're not keeping Philadelphia out of the end zone on an extremely short field like that. And maybe you could have said on the first turnover, maybe the defense could have stood up and stopped them there. But, Philadelphia, I thought, once again, not a huge Kellen Moore guy. But props to him. He did not abandon the run. Mm-hmm. He used it enough to make Kansas City's defense. If he saw Kansas City clearly said, we're not going to let Saquon beat us.
Yep.
And Kellen Moore said, we're going to have to tackle him 30 times tonight.
Yeah.
He goes, and if he never runs for more than 5, 6, 7 yards of carry, that's great. But you're going to have to stay where you are and tackle him 25 to 30 times. And then on the rest of the plays, we'll figure it out from there. I got to give him props. Kellen Moore, I thought, called a really good game.
For Cowboys fans out there, how do y'all feel letting Kellen Moore out the building and then he goes and gets that championship? We just talked about the running back, Saquon Barkley, that was in your division you could have got. It comes right back to what are we doing over there at the Cowboys?
Look, Dan, the one that hurts worse is Dan Quinn, because I think
NFC championship.
I think if you were going to move on from McCarthy, you should have done it the year before, which clearly we know now. Jerry Jones didn't really want to move on from McCarthy. He just didn't want to pay him any money. But you could have had possibly talked Dan Quinn into taking your head coaching job. You then possibly could have held on to like 4 or 5 more free agents that immediately followed him to Washington and would have strengthened your bench for your defense. That's the one that hurts more to me. Props to Kellen Moore. I hope he does well at New Orleans. He's still growing as a play caller. And certainly the way he stuck to the run game, if anything opened my eyes to him growing as a play caller, it was that Super Bowl game. But it is also much easier to be disciplined as a play caller when you know that you have the best running back in the NFL. When you move on to New Orleans and your running game is just a bunch of guys, what do you do? How do you adjust at that point? He's got a tough task ahead of him at New Orleans, and it's more power.
It's one of those situations where it's just like, why accept?
Yeah.
Like when Sirianni said what he said on the podium, I thought that would have got him to stay. Like, yeah, you're right. Let's run it back. You know, let's run it back because it just reminded me of what Ben Johnson did last year, and he could have got a job anywhere. But he looked around the market and was like, I don't want to be the head coach for the Bears right now when they don't know if Caleb's even good, you know, and, you know, that's a lot of faith in the Bears organization to get the guys I want. And so then the second time around when they already have the pieces, okay, now I accept it. Because at the end of the day, Ben Johnson had the option to just come back to Detroit, you know, and be one of the highest paid coordinators in the league. If not, I think he was the highest paid coordinator in the league. Then you have all your pieces back, you know, you run it back. So I thought Kellen was going to do the same thing. Because that Saints team is not attractive.
No.
Like, it is. You have an aging quarterback. You have an aging defense. The whole defense is aging. You got Kamara, you just paid a lot of money.
Funny money.
He is not old, but, I mean, he's up there for a running back. And so now you're stuck with him. And receivers, Chris Olave. It's a career over with Olave. With all the concussions. So I didn't like that for Kellen. I wish he would have just. I get it. You know,
somebody had to take the job.
I'm about to say someone has to. And you know, you don't know when your next head coaching opportunity. Like, look at Bobby Slowick, for example. He was getting head coaching interviews.
Unless Kellen knows if this fails, at a bare bones minimum, when they do let me go,
he can go back.
Somebody will take me as offensive coordinator because I got that on my resume, getting that championship. And so maybe that's his thinking. Let me just take the money now, take the opportunity now.
It did make it more palatable to take that job after a win versus after a loss. If the roles had been reversed and the Philadelphia offense had fallen flat on its face in this game.
Yes.
And then he takes the New Orleans job and fails there. Then all of a sudden, there's more questions. But I think at this point, you're right. Everyone's going to look at this and go, that's a terrible offense. It's a terrible football team right now at New Orleans. So if he doesn't succeed there, we're not necessarily going to blame everything on him. And our last good memory of him is a really good game plan that he put together in a Super Bowl. Yeah. So it at least makes it a better look for him.
Yeah. So do you guys, while we're talking about the Super Bowl, did we see a chink in Mahomes' armor there? When you looked at him on the sideline, I know you mentioned you and I had some interactions off air here, and you said every time you looked at Travis Kelce on the sideline, he looked defeated. I don't really know if I like what I saw from Mahomes there. Someone brought this up. It's not mine. But the only quarterback he's ever outplayed in the Super Bowl was Jimmy Garoppolo. This is 2 times in a row that Jalen Hurts has looked great in the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know if we can. He did have that interception the first game, but he still threw for 300 that first time they lost to the Chiefs. And then here he is again. Patrick Mahomes just also didn't have a good day against a great defense. Can we put that on him? Or are you guys against that?
I mean, could he have played a little better? Maybe, but he had no time. That offensive line was just beaten and whipped, and he knew one series into that game that he had 3 steps and throw, or he was going to have to make it work with his legs.
Yep. I'm going to agree. I like that. That you know. This is gonna be a rough day.
Yeah, I just. It's a sticky situation because, I mean, I think it's not that we saw a chink in Patrick's armor. I feel like we just saw what beats Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's a 4-man rush and 7 in the back because Tampa Bay did the exact same thing to them.
You're right. But that's the key, right? How many teams in the NFL
can do that?
Can go with a 4-man rush and be able to get that done? But it's up to the Chiefs now because when you're playing games 1 through 17 in the regular season, you're going to run into a couple of those teams that may be able to do that. Mm-hmm. The further you go in the playoffs, the better chance you have of running into a team who can do that. That's why they're there. That's why they're in the conference championship game or why they're in the Super Bowl.
Put a double nickel up in the conference champion.
It's clearly back on the plate of the Chiefs now is they have got to retool that offensive line.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing after the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, and I think they went out and got Creed Humphrey, you know, and so I think that is something that we're going to see from the Chiefs. We're going to see a very aggressive Kansas City offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if they get into the Myles Garrett conversation. I mean, why not? You know, you have a guy that's out there that can be a game wrecker like that. You just got wrecked by the defensive line for the Phillies, so you don't want him going anywhere else. So why not add that tool to the bag, you know? And I also think it's a very interesting conversation with what is the recipe to beat Mahomes, because I also believe that they took away one of his superpowers, which is dissecting defenses and figuring out blitzes, where they're coming from. And the reason why he's so good at that is because he has to go against Spags since August. And so Spags is throwing everything at him, all the exotic blitzes, and Patrick is able to point them out, which then gets guys open. But Philly's like, we're not going to show you anything.
That's right.
We're not going to blitz anybody.
Nope.
You just got to just beat us.
Yep.
You know, your 3 receivers have to beat our 7 coverage guys. And they just couldn't get it done. And so, yeah, I just think that that's what we saw on Sunday was, man, you take away Patrick's superpower of dissecting defenses and recognizing where you're blitzing from and force him to fit some balls in places that it's tight windows. And he just couldn't do it, and especially with that pressure in his face.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say this to you, Patrick. It's still in your DNA. I know right now you're drinking some humble juice, but everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 3-time Super Bowl MVP.
See what I did
I mean,
there?
Super Bowl champion. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
It's okay.
That was the set list for Kendrick Lamar halftime. You see what I did there? Okay. Because y'all were, Travis, you were interested in talking about Super Bowl halftime.
Low key, though.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean-
It was great.
It was cool.
Yeah.
What? You're one of those?
It was cool.
What is the expectation for the Super Bowl? You have a Grammy winner multiple time. What was your expectation? What would made you say it was amazing?
I mean, 2 years ago in L.A. was dope. 50 Cent, all them boys came out.
Yeah.
50 Cent Upside Down.
Yeah, that was dope. Beyonce was dope.
That's hard to match, though. Agreed. You put that much talent.
I'm saying
up
the
there?
standard, for me, the standard for Super Bowl is up there. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like Kendrick met the standard. I think the coolest part in the whole show was the beginning with all these people hopping out the car.
Yeah,
That
how many
was,
people
yeah.
came out
I'm
of
like,
that?
how many people are in this car? I was so confused.
Young Bucks, pay attention. The Grand National was quite a
Oh, yeah.
vehicle
Oh,
in its
yeah.
day. And then we can get into the.
What do you mean by quite a vehicle? What'd you do in the Grand
Buick
National?
Regal.
Uh-huh.
Those are GM. Those are GM
Those G-
cars.
yeah, the
so
Buick
it's-
Regal, yeah.
Yeah, because you can get into Monte Carlo.
That's right.
Like we can go down that path.
That's right.
But yeah, it's quite the car.
I bet it is. Sicko. Time for a break, can I try?
Yeah, we need to get to a break. And I want to get one last comment in on the Super Bowl. So, Tom Brady during the broadcast, Kevin Burkhardt brought up a stat. He goes, "Hey, you know something about getting off the slow starts, don't you, Tom?" And Tom gave a little flex. He said, "Yeah, my first 9 Super Bowls, we didn't score a single touchdown in the first quarter." He goes, "It wasn't until my 10th that we actually got in the end zone in the first quarter." I thought that was the most classic line of the night. My first 9 Super Bowls.
Don't come for me.
As he should, though.
That's right.
Don't come
As
for
he
me.
should.
All right, let's get to a break. Come back on the other side right here on the Fans View. Back on the Fans View, KAZI 88.7, Travis Kent, Douglas Washington, Jamal January, KVU 24's Corey Mose. All right. Anybody else have any comments they want to get out on the Super Bowl as we close that out and maybe talk a little bit of NBA now that we're at we're past the halfway mark, but with the All-Star break.
Favorite commercial? Anyone have one?
Kanye's. I'm joking.
Oh my gosh.
I'm joking. Oh, man. I didn't see any I was working, so I really didn't see any other commercials. Were they any good?
I was still pulling meat off the grill and moving stuff around, and I missed a bunch of them, and I have not gone back and rewatched them. So
Well, as a youth sports coach and girl dad, I'm going with that Nike commercial, Asia Wilson, Juju, because
Sha'Carri Richardson?
Yeah, I'm telling my girls the whole time, hey, because we play all them sports too. Like, hey, you see that? Hey, you see that? So that one got me the most excited, and I just want to give you the background of why that one appealed to me. So that's where I went. Well, What about Glenn Powell in the Ram trucks? Did you catch that one though?
No, I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, so he re-envisioned Goldilocks and the Three Bears, reading it to I think his niece and nephew.
Okay.
And he reimagined it as he's Goldilocks, and insert the Fabio long blonde hair, and then there are 3 trucks that he has to go through.
Yeah.
As in the 3 beds and the 3 porridges, and so that one I thought a lot of people really liked that. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch and watch. Some of them I just didn't see. I flat out just didn't see.
The Ritz Salty Club. You got Aubrey Plaza, and
Yeah, everybody in there was just salty.
Just salty. And Michael Shannon, Bad Bunny came in, and at
Yeah.
first they're like, "Hey, you smiling?" But then you gave him a little ice on the way out. Yeah. I like that. A lot of people like that Coffee Mate one. Oh, Post Malone.
This man Douglas, bro. Remember every commercial.
Dallas area guy, Post Malone. Undergrad's marketing. I'm a marketing guy. But
Post Malone and Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
And Peyton
Oh,
Manning.
that was a good
I'm
commercial.
liking Post Malone
Yeah.
in the high socks,
Yeah.
sandals. He's doing
Post Malone. And you're right. He's a Dallas guy. I liked his early music. It was different. I thought it something about it was like I don't know, Wildflower and some of that stuff. It was different. It was something new. And now he's doing this whole crossover into country music type thing as well.
Yeah.
But for a guy with as many face tattoos as he has and as weird looking as he has crossed himself. I used to wonder how did Snoop Dogg make himself like America's favorite,
he's on.
black man?
Yeah,
How did Martha Stewart go from prison to being back and she can make any commercial she wants now?
Yep.
How does Post Malone get himself? I mean, he must be very, very likable.
Yeah.
He comes off as likable on these commercials, but most ad executives would roll over in their proverbial graves
I
if
think
they.
It shows his diversity.
Yeah.
Because all those genres, when he's with those hardcore rappers making that music,
Yeah.
they seem to be digging him. When he's with those R&B singers and music, they dig him. And now country artists and writers, they're digging him. So shout out to his diversity. I want to give y'all one last one then.
Yeah, okay.
The Tostinos one with so there's an alien. And the kids find an alien and they love him, so they want to give him pizza rolls. And it's time for the alien to leave and go back. He's standing in his doorway saying his goodbyes. They give him some Tostino's pizza rolls to take back with him, and then the door shuts on him and kills him. And the 2 parents are standing by. Well, we can't let those pizza rolls go to waste. So I'll give you that one too.
Uh-huh.
So those are the ones.
All right, NBA All-Star break. I guess starts today because they got the Futures game tonight,
Yes,
I
sir.
believe. We'll do that skills competition stuff, and then obviously the formats change. We won't talk much about the All-Star game itself, but let's talk about.
Oh, I actually had a comment about the All-Star game.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Because Wemby came out and had a comment about he's looking to dive on the floor for the basketball. He's looking to give his all effort and kind of change the narrative.
Well, let's talk about then the format of the game, right? They've gone from an East versus West to now a 4-team tournament. I believe they're playing 4-on-4.
Yeah.
'Cause
I think so.
it's
I'm not really well versed.
10-player
I forgot
team.
they even did that. Yeah,
It's
I forgot their sport captain.
three 10-player teams, a 4th team made up of the top 10 rookies from the rookie game, and they're going to play a tournament to change it up, and it's going to be like they're playing to, I don't know, 40. I don't even know what they're playing to or whatever they're doing, but they're trying to move away from this Ole style of defense and everyone just trying to see if they can get to 200 points and all that kind of stuff, and see if they can make it more. Even though they're not playing 5-on-5, but they're taking players off the course, but they want it to look more like a basketball game, and so we'll see if that works.
I think whatchamacallit, whose team is it? I think it's Kenny's team. Kenny's team don't stand a chance. Did y'all look at the roster?
Yes, I did.
I get it. He drafted young players because he's like, oh yeah, they're gonna play hard. But you look at who Charles's team is just straight big man.
Just number 7-footers.
So like 7-footers, and
Yeah,
LeBron just. Excuse me. Shaq just drafted all the like old veteran stars and everything.
Shaq's OGs.
Yes, literally Shaq's OGs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, what I'm curious about is the nostalgic moments that we're going to have here. Gentlemen, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. Look, we're not going to be having too many more of these. Maybe LeBron looks like he can go another 4 years, especially now that Luka's going to give him a chance to go back to a second fiddle and not have as much pressure. But Steph's he's a small guy out of him. And although he's in good shape and he can run around the court, Kevin Durant, another injury, we may not have this anymore. So we went from a rivalry to a bromance, and it's just, I think it's beautiful that we're going to get to see these three, and I'm excited about that for nostalgic reasons.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited about the opportunity to see these three?
I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see it. Same time, I'm more so excited to see what. I'm looking at the name right now, Chuck's Global Stars. I'm more excited to see that team, just with Wemby and Giannis on the same team, and then in my opinion, the front runner for MVP SJA on that team too. It's gonna be special.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Hey, Kenny squad at the? Oh no, Chuck squad. That's Chuck squad. Yeah, Chuck squad is kind of nice.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, Kenny squad is kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie to
Well, I don't know what his goal was. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the live selections. I wanted him to explain himself.
And it's not so. I think one of the early iterations of this game I heard was they were going to play it with less than 5. They're playing 5-on-5, but it's games to 40.
And 4 teams.
Yeah, 14. It's a 4-team tournament. So
I just think I see what like Kenny was trying to do, you know, because it's obvious they don't really try in the All-Star game. So he got the young bucks to. Maybe they'll actually like play hard and everything, but don't sleep on Candace Parker's as rising stars.
So that's the wild card, right? Is like, are these rising stars? I think a lot of them are going to go out there and go, hey, if you guys think this is going to be just like the All-Star game where nobody's playing defense on you and you can just go clean to the basket, we're just stupid enough to challenge you.
Yeah, see, because the games before that, it's because one of the Rising Stars teams is a G League team. I'm really hoping they actually went out and we get to see them, because I know for a fact they're going to play to the fullest. Like, hey, we got to try and get some good NBA contracts, man. Let's go against these veterans and see what we
Jeremy
can do.
Lin is coaching the team.
He sure is.
You got Chris Mullin coaching the team. To your point, I like what you said. It's about your chance, your moment in the sun. I'm a rising star. I don't got to respect you, OG, triple fat OG. I'm out here trying to get it. And when Iverson came in the league, what did he want to do? He did. He crossed Jordan. And we still talking about it to this day. It's time for someone else to get their moment. So if you can get it, you got to go get it. Mitch Richmond is going to be coaching. Tim Hardaway is coaching. Yeah, this is going to be fun. That's that. And for those who don't know, so these G League teams, they're going to play. So there's 6 G League teams. They have to all play, and then the 4 teams. And then the winner of those games will play in the All-Star mini tournament. So they'll already be warmed up, too. Have a little team chemistry, and maybe that could be another reason why they might do better. So,
and these aren't all just G League either. This is like Zach Edey is playing this game.
Yes.
Zach, the number 1 overall pick. Zach Resacker, Stefan Castle.
The number 2 pick is playing.
Yeah, so it's a mixture of your top G League guys and your rookies that let's face it. I kind of like last year, because Wemby played in the Rising Stars game, right? He didn't play in the regular All-Star game, and I go back and forth. Oh man, if he's
playing that,
like is that? Yeah. But I get it. I mean, a lot of this All-Star game is you want to see the all-time favorites are playing in it, and so but I do like that this is a way to say, okay, Reisacker and Zach Edey, y'all having great campaigns. There's no spot for you on the All-Star team.
Yes.
But here's a way for us to recognize the fact that you guys are in the running for Rookie of the Year or
Yeah.
something like that, and you can still be a part of all these festivities. So, I'm going to give this format a shot.
Speaking
Amen.
I was going to say, speaking of rookies, I think the crown jewel of everything is this AT&T Slam Dunk Contest, right?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't we all just excited for the Slam Dunk Contest?
Yeah.
And Stephon Castle.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Hey,
Why you laughing, Jamal? What's so funny
aren't they going to pull Mac McClung back up from the G League?
Hey, what, 3-time Slam Dunk champ?
Exactly.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, hey, y'all put some respect on that name of Mac McClung. He's from VA. He's from Virginia.
Oh,
He's
here
a
he
Virginia
goes.
boy.
I got respect for Mac McClung, but even one of my friends texted in that last dunk contest he was in. I could have done some of the dunks he
But,
did.
hey, and you text your friend from Doug, but you won't in it.
Bro, y'all seen, I think it was the Cavs had a halftime slam dunk contest.
Oh,
with
it
these
was legit.
Yeah, bro. Like, it was legit. Like,
Really?
Yes,
these
it
two
was.
street ballers. And
Oh,
that's,
wow.
yeah, it was like, there were some dunks in there. I'm like, okay, like no look dunks behind that. Like, it was crazy.
I'll be dang.
And so I'm just like, that's where we should go. Get these street ballers that do this for a living.
Yeah.
And at least, the Dunk Kings, bro, at least get one dude in the competition to then compete against the pro players. I think that would be interesting. But again, it's another, like, why do we need to do this? You know, why can't just LeBron go do a dunk contest? You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Very, very long time.
Just a quick side note about All-Star games, right? The NHL is having their Four Nations tournament. That's a replacement for the All-Star game.
I was shocked that USA smacked around Finland like
Oh man, that was a beatdown.
It's
last
our
night.
sport now.
Yeah.
Is that who we are now? Because
We like that.
I'm here for it. I did not know that.
The Kachuk brothers, man.
Kachuk, baby.
Yo, we
What,
were
is McDavid, huh?
America.
What, is McDavid Canadian or is he a...
Connor McDavid, he's an American.
Bro, what are we talking about, bro?
We make it like
McJesus.
that.
Yeah.
We grow like
What?
this. We about that business.
Yeah, we like that now.
Yo. Until the next game. But hey, right now we up.
Yeah.
So we up right now.
The NFL obviously has moved to the flag football format. The NBA now trying a new format.
Yeah.
Baseball, you can still kind of play the game in its regular iteration. They have amended it to where they only play 9 innings. That way, the managers know exactly how many pitchers and how they want to use the pitchers, and they won't necessarily run out if they go to extra innings. But do any of these All-Star games still draw your attention?
Yes. So I'm always going to be a home run derby fan. I love it. I'm always going to be here for that. I'm going to watch flag football only because I coach it. I have played it. And those of us who have played, and it's a lot of us that are listening that played flag football and didn't play tackle, you could kind of see yourself. They're doing what we're doing. I think it personalizes it a little bit more. That's the only reason I think the flag football could catch on is that opportunity. You can still break people's ankles. You know what I mean? You can still see some diving catches, and we can see their athleticism. Some of the things that we can't do. I'm still a fan.
So 2 weeks ago, you watched the game? You watched the flag football game?
I did not.
See, I didn't either.
Boy, did all that yapping, bro. They didn't watch the
I
game.
did not.
I watched some of it.
Oh, okay.
I watched
And
some of it.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
Oh.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
Not at all. I enjoyed the skills, the Pro Bowl games, like the other games that they were playing.
Jared Goff
The tug of war.
says he's here for it. Y'all respect my arm. Jared Goff got his thing in.
Pause.
So
Yeah, I just don't know, man. I will say, last year with Caitlin Clark in the 3-point contest, that had me hooked. I was like, okay, Steph. Like,
Ionescu.
oh yeah, Sabrina. I'm tripping. I thought about Caitlin because she denied it this year.
Yeah.
Which is embarrassing.
No, I think that's a smart move.
Well, she said she wants her first 3-point contest to be at the women's game.
I think that's respect, bro.
When that was her reasoning, I was in complete agreement. I would have
thrown her more money.
Well, now if you were the NBA, you probably should have. you probably should have upped the ante to see if you could.
Because everyone's going to tune in.
Yeah.
You want to cash in on the WNBA's cashing in on her. She's the cash cow.
So.
But maybe she don't care about the bread, bro. It's all about the purpose behind it. She's trying to be the face of the W. And so I think that's one of the steps you have to take to try to be that role. And I think she earned a lot of respect from a lot of women in that league for making that decision.
And we talked about this before, but we've only had year one of this groundswell of support.
Yes.
And I think she and Angel Reese, I think a lot of players in the league look around and go, 1 year of it's great, but how long can we push this wave out? And so anything like from that perspective of saying anything to keep people wanting it is probably a good thing. And so if she doesn't, if you still haven't seen her in a 3-point contest, you still want to see it. So,
a lot of people were rooting against the Chiefs because of fatigue. So in the NFL, I don't remember hearing a lot of other players saying they got Patrick Mahomes on every commercial fatigue. So how long can we ride Caitlin Clark as the number one face? I mean, Asia Wilson, I'm seeing her in a lot of commercials.
Yeah,
now.
she got her own shoe now.
INSQ. Oh, and dudes are
Shoe
playing.
drop. Bam.
The Miami.
I mean, that's her. Yeah. That's her man's though.
Agreed. But
respect to Bam though for hooping in his girl's shoes.
Hero,
that's live.
And Hero came
Goals,
out and
low-key.
Sabrina's too. So
yeah.
When NBA players are wearing WNBA players' shoes, that helps too. But
I think it's coming. I don't think. And here's my take. The W doesn't have to lean on Caitlin after this season.
Yeah.
Because there's stars coming.
Yes.
You have Paige coming next, and she's going to be a lot of people that don't follow women's basketball. Paige Beckers is a bucket.
Watch out.
And then after Paige, you have Juju. So I mean, they're coming. It's just, can Caitlin hold us over?
But what we had was a balloon full of talent, right? And Caitlin was just the one who had the pin to poke the hole in it. And so now all this talent, I mean, and there was, last year was a great year of talent entering the WNBA. And so the next wave, what she did was not only pierce that, but it pierced the balloon of advertisers.
yes.
Because it wasn't just that the WNBA and its attendance went up. It's that advertisers saw Caitlin Clark in a State Farm commercial is just as viable as Steph Curry or I almost said Ron Paul, Chris Paul in a State Farm commercial.
Or what? Cliff Paul.
Cliff Paul. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. When that's what adds to the popularity of the sport and keeps the wave going, right?
We got a caller.
We got another caller again, huh? Who's there? Mr. Oklahoma, is that you?
Hey, guys, I got one announcement. Tomorrow in college men's basketball, number 1 and number 2 play.
Yes,
Auburn
they
and
do.
Alabama.
Yes, they do.
They do.
So you don't want to miss that one.
The
So I
Iron-
just want to let y'all know that.
The
I'll
Iron
see y'all
Bowl.
later.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Oklahoma. Yes, the Iron Bowl on basketball style is tomorrow.
I'm not gonna lie. I was at that Texas Bama game.
Texas, yeah.
That Bama team's nice.
Yes, they are.
And now, yeah, they're tall. They're athletic. They shot the crap out the
That's-
basketball.
We had no answer for their outside shooting.
And I mean, they weren't. Guys were hitting threes that shot 10% for the season. So it's just one of those nights for Bama.
It was one of those nights, but that's still probably a 8 to 10 point better basketball
Yeah.
team than Texas.
Yeah, I was surprised the line was at 5.
I was too.
I was like, bro, what? Okay. All right. But, yeah, that's going to be one heck of a game. Because I will say, I'm interested to see how Auburn's, Johnny Boom, I think that's what his name is. He has the size to go against Bama's interior. And so I'm interested to see that matchup for sure. It's going to be a good game.
And the top overall seed to the tournament comes out of this. There's a lot on the line. Number 1 overall. Gentlemen, if this is what college basketball turns into, where Auburn is back on top, I'm okay with it. You guys got to have chalk. You're okay with the football team
Chuck
being number 1 in the nation?
Chuck during the tournament is going to be almost unlistenable. I know.
Look, again, so he needs to be NCAA, pay Chuck to go to all the Auburn games, mic him up, and just sit back and enjoy the ratings.
But remember last time they had a good team, they didn't go for it. That was with
That's
Jabari
right.
Smith.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good memory.
Yeah, I mean, just
Yeah.
because the Rockets guy.
Okay.
But yeah, like Chuck thought they were going to go to the Final Four that year. And I think they got bounced in the second round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, look, anything can happen in the tournament.
Real quick, as we need our last couple of minutes here, Luka makes his Laker debut this past week.
Yeah, in fact.
He's still not 100% healthy. They limited his minutes.
Looked heavy leg.
Yeah, what do you think about the way that lineup shapes up post trade?
They'll in the offseason, they will go get a big man. They need it. They will go get it.
They've got zero big men right now.
I hate to disrespect Jackson Hayes.
Well, he got hurt,
Longhorn.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's hurt now.
We'll see it in the offseason. Right now, it's just a great backcourt. See how far that can go. That's where I see him.
I really like Austin Reeves being. I think he's the third. Him being the third best player.
Yes.
He's the third best player in the league.
I do think Dalton Connect is going to go on a heater for the remainder of the year.
I like Dalton
because he's mad.
I didn't want them to trade him because
Y'all
I
was
feel
gonna
like
let me go.
Dalton's a perfect Luka guy.
Yes,
So-
he is.
I've got a question about Dalton Connect.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of Lakers games this year, and I know he's coming off the bench for them. But it seemed odd to me that that they were offering him in a trade for just a guy. I mean, they needed a big man. They need a big man bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the upside for him was Mark Williams he's supposed to be a guy.
Yeah, he's money. Like he's got value.
I mean, he was
Who
averaging
else-
18 and 9.
Who else
like,
on the
he,
roster
he was a guy.
would you dangle though?
And that's
that-
who
that has-
exactly.
Well,
Exactly, Douglas.
Because we all know in the limited early in
Yeah.
the season they did put Dalton in. He had a couple 30-point games,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, Austin Reeves, who? And then I think that's when they had okay, let's put the rookie back on the shelf. We good right now because we got to go with Austin. And they went. So I think that's all they really had to dangle.
The flip side, the Mavericks are 3-1 now.
Yeah.
And even after AD's injury, no Gafford, no Lively, but
Remember when we talked about
Kyrie.
who I said won the trade?
Yeah.
I said the Mavs. I did
Max
say that.
Christie.
Max Christie.
Is legit.
Yeah.
Max Christie's a really good-looking piece out there, man.
What I say, bro? What I say, bro?
You did. You
Y'all
did.
trying to dog my boy Christie, bro.
I
He
gotta-
got a throw in, dog.
I got to be honest. He looks really good
Clutch
out there.
3, put
Yes.
y'all up 4,
yes.
and then just hit clutch free throws
Yes, he
to
did.
win, bro.
Yes, he did. And
Christie's a guy.
And you beat your dad. You get a chance to beat your dad.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Hey, this also looks like it breathes a little life into Klay Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Like Klay,
That shot he hit in the King. Excuse me, that shot he hit against the Kings, which by the way, I think y'all were robbed. I think y'all got robbed that game. That was a travel from DeRozan. I don't
Yeah,
care.
well, yeah.
Step through rule, throw it
Hey,
away.
let it go. Let it go. West Side, DeMar. Come on, man. Let it go.
That's your team. That's your team.
He's an LA dude. Nah, I ran into him a couple times in Los Angeles. It's no big deal. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy though. He goes to a lot of pickup. A lot of pickup, a lot of he's at a lot of courts, like he's in those streets.
Yeah.
He used to come back. That was when he was in Toronto though. Okay, Travis,
Yeah.
do you feel better as a Mavs fan? Because I think Kyrie, to that same point, is like, oh wait, hold on, people. The sky isn't falling. I'm still on this team. Y'all know. I'm still Kyrie. Do you think that's what Kyrie is feeling right now?
yeah, I think I think at least for now Kyrie is going to give it a shot. He knows they've got to get some pieces healthy.
Yes.
But he's playing the good soldier right now. So far, he has been the most eloquent of any of the Mavericks to speak. Jason Kidd, I don't think has done a very good job. Certainly, Dumont has done a terrible job of speaking since all this happened. Kyrie has made the most sense. Essentially, just saying, give us a chance. Give us a chance to show you what we are. And then make your decision from there. Mavericks fans, so far, I'm okay with. I'm very upset with the franchise and the way they've handled the criticism in stadium. I think there's a little chicken-ass the way they've been kicking people out for just mouthing the words "Fire Nico."
Yeah.
Nico shows up at a SMU game, though, and the SMU students let him have it.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He went to the SMU game the other night, and the students started a Fire Nico chant.
As they should.
And,
Yeah.
Now let me.
that stadium, they're right on top of each other too. So
I just got one quick question. If you win a chip in the next 3 years, are you okay with the trade?
Hey, I think you would have to be, because what this did was it changed the window from a multi-year window, a 5 to 8 year window, to a 3 year window.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to get done in this window, because I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure in year 3 that you have either Kyrie or Anthony Davis
Same.
anyway.
I agree.
So yeah,
But if he gets it done,
But if it gets it done, yes. The only problem is that even at that point, Luka's 27 years old, and you're starting all over from ground zero. And we did that already. We won with Dirk, and then we let Tyson Chandler walk away, and we started from ground zero again. We've done this before. Well, as Mavericks fans, what we were looking forward to was having a guy for the next 10 years that we could try to build around. That's kind of where we're at. But you're exactly right. Nico can sit there. Nico can say, "I won the trade."
He'll get an extension
if they win a chip.
he'll get a contract extension
So,
if they do win.
all right, we got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody calling in. Appreciate everybody listening. Mr. Cooper, Earl Cooper, Coop. Appreciate you coming in with us. Professor sat in with us for a few minutes. We'll see you next week on the Fans View.